everybody. If you could please share. I'm coming on here tonight just to talk about yesterday and stuff. And I am barred on everything. I'm barred on Facebook. I'm blocked, deleted. They won't let me on. If you could please share. So if you could please share since I'm barred. And that'd be appreciated, guys. Cheers. So I'll just let the numbers build a wee bit and I'll start. So first of all, I'm going to show you some videos and pictures for yesterday as well. It came to my attention as well tonight, so I'm blocked on Facebook and everything, so I'm not really seeing what's going on, but I see that it's only been, since George Square yesterday, it's only been, although Nicola Sturgeon's, now this is my property, so for the platform I'm on again, before I have any problems on YouTube, since I'm deleted and everything else. But this is a message to Nicola Sturgeon, like, in 2 weeks' time you've organised an independence march for thousands in attendance, and you've made a public statement again in the news last night against us. This is getting beyond like harassment, Nicola, and taking away our rights or freedom of speech. So before I go into that, I'll speak about that in a wee at the end. But I'm going to show you some pictures and stuff about our wee journey over the last few months, and basically like our side of the story, because Nicola keeps publishing stories saying we're anti-vaxxers and we're killing people and stuff, and that's not true. If anything, she is. So, and it's the truth, so I'm entitled to freedom of speech, so please do not delete my video. So, Sunday the 25th of April, yesterday, we all gathered in George Square, and I must say it was a monumental day for Scotland. I think that was the most numbers we've had so far. The energy was great. It was amazing to see so many people coming together on our streets to unite for the truth, for freedom, and we need to continue to do this, guys. It was a bit unsettling over the last few weeks, as people remember at the end of last year, it was becoming an arrest fest basically, and it was like a game of cat and mouse in George Square. It keeps being wrongly portrayed what we're all about. So I've come on here tonight to kind of put that straight. George Square's a place for people, for freedom of speech, to raise awareness about whatever your cause and to speak out about it, and also for survivors of child abuse. That's what me and Laura are there for. We raise awareness about the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry, about the victims of Scotland's institutions, and ultimately we be a voice for the children that have not got a voice in Scotland. Somebody needs to stand up for them, because our authorities, our elites, the people that are running our country, are exploiting our children, and they're allowing our children to be exploited, and they're trying to cause division amongst us as people and create animosity so that we all fight amongst each other, when it's not about that. So as I said, I'm going to show you some pictures and videos. So like I said, December, January in George Square was like, so if everybody could share this, so like Rob S and stuff on Facebook can see it, and Laura will probably be on sharing from me already, and everybody else, because I'm blocked. I want to be able to create another Facebook, so, and I don't really want to, but I'm going to complain to Facebook as well. So basically, as I said, so I'll stop there now, because like, as you remember, in George Square the police were like kettling us in, and they were threatening COVID legislation just about December time, when we were only there to support people with mental health that we'd already been supporting all summer, that are survivors of abuse that our institutions have let down and that our establishments are failing. So, and yesterday, as I said, it was monumental. All the small groups in Scotland came together and we stood together as one in George Square, and honestly it was brilliant to see. Fighting for truth, justice and our freedoms, coming together as one and joining together. We also marched from George Square to Glasgow Green peacefully, and we marched peacefully back to George Square. And like I said, these events, for anybody that's been following all this, these events are now being organised like the old acid raves back in the day. See, remember when you had to phone 24 hours before there was an event taking place? That's the way we've been penalised, like we've had to operate like that because we're not allowed to support children that are victims of abuse right now. Our parks and places like that are like full of kids in there and they're all vulnerable. They're all allowed out to gather, but we're not allowed out to protect them. This is why, this is what we're all about. We're about the corruption in Scotland and about protecting our children against the evils that are out there, that our establishments are exploiting them and exposing them to. So like anybody that's been involved in all this will know those measures we've had to take to put these gatherings even together. We can't call ourselves organisers because we'll get £10,000 fine. We can't do, we're out raising awareness and it's peaceful gatherings, so we're not breaking any COVID legislations. And like I said, I'm going to show you guys what I'm kind of talking about back in December, January. It kicked me up my pictures there, it doesn't want me to show you. So I created a wee, don't know how to find my pictures, so if I kid on I'm going to save one. It won't let me in, I think. So I'm going to flip the camera in and show you like some of the things that happened to us for just supporting people with mental illness and stuff and mental health through the Christmas time, and when people with post-traumatic stress, it was really bad through the Christmas period. But this was basically, yep. So this is a folder I was looking for. So I'm going to show you these pictures. I'm going to spin the camera around in there, right? Right, so this was like what we were facing at Christmas, just for raising awareness and stuff. And anybody that was there will remember this. While we were just trying to go out and raise awareness about mental health and support people, we were portrayed to be like Nicholas saying the now again, like killing people. It's nothing of the sort. We were saving people for this sort of stuff. Right, let me see what else, if I want to show you something else in there. Right. So just like I said, I think yesterday was a monumental day for Scotland, and I'm proud of everybody that stood together and stood up for our freedom and stuff. Also, I wanted to raise awareness a wee bit about, see, people wearing masks as well. Although we don't wear them through our choice because they don't work, we don't believe they work, but that's our choice. We've also got to be aware that survivors of abuse and stuff might want to come to our gatherings and wear a mask simply because they don't want their identity exposed. And it's just, I wanted to say that's absolutely fine. Like there shouldn't be an issue with that. People shouldn't be pointing people out with masks on because there could be a valid reason they're wearing that. And again, they're victims of our government because our government's got them in fear and feel like they need to wear one. So they shouldn't be punishing them for it. So it's their choice, and that's discriminating against. So I just want to say, for everybody that thinks that we've got an issue, me and Laura have no issue, and I have to get that statement out there. If you want to wear a mask at gatherings to protect your identity from not being on camera, etc, etc, then that's totally acceptable, and we'll make sure nobody's pointed out for having a mask in the future. So like I said, so it looks like having no central organiser is the ideal way to do it, as we know organisers, we were targeted and threatened with £10,000 fines. So people just need to keep coming together. Yesterday was amazing. We need to do more to unite and march for our causes. I do believe we should march. We should start getting small gatherings of us all, like gathering in the parks every Saturday in your local park. And then if we go marching, then we know where people are, then we can all join up and march and unite together and start standing up for what we believe in, whether it be our freedoms, our corruption and our government, our children, ourselves, our injustices. Then we just need to take to these streets and start making a point over the summer, because I really do believe come December, the Christmas time again and the winter months come in, we will not be allowed out again, we will be put back into lockdown. So while we've got a chance, and can I also just say the police I understand that the march in London didn't go the same. Like they had a 500,000 people down there. Well done to the people in London. They peacefully walked and marched, and then they get like us went back to, like we said, we went to Glasgow Green and then back to George Square. We got to sit in George Square and chill, and play our music and stuff. And the police were absolutely, I've got to say, credit where credit's due. The police were brilliant yesterday. They were absolutely no issue at all, and we didn't anywhere near the numbers that down in London had. So I'm going to just show you like a wee bit of yesterday, actually, while I'm on that subject. Let's see, where is it? But honestly, we're nowhere near the numbers, but our police were brilliant yesterday, so they all stood under oath as constables and they respected the people, and that's what it should all be about. So, like, credit where credit's due, Police Scotland, like, were absolutely spot on yesterday. There was absolutely no issues at all, and they were amazing. So, and we met so many people introduced themselves, said hello, it was amazing. It was lovely to see all the groups coming together and supporting each other the way it should be, because we're on this together and it's ultimately for the future of our country and to protect our children. Good picture on the Daily Record. I was just reading the comments there. Oh, good. I've not seen nothing today. I've been too busy, like, just thinking, just working on this and stuff, and then I put a wee couple of things together. So, as I said, we met so many people and it was lovely to see everybody standing together. There was no issues at all. We peacefully got to do what we wanted. We raised awareness. Everybody got to say their piece. And basically we made a statement yesterday and we telling the authorities and the establishments that we're sick and tired of being told what to do, regardless of what our beliefs about coronavirus and COVID is. We agree on one thing, that our freedoms are being taken away from us, our businesses are being stolen, we're being refused medical attention. And see, in a sturgeon as well, how dare you emotionally blackmail people and say we should think about all the people that's died of coronavirus. I've got a statement for you, Nicola Sturgeon. You should think about all the people that have committed suicide, about the at least 2 people every day that are fished out of the Clyde that are committing suicide that you're not telling anybody about, or the young people's mental health that you've compromised, that you've terrorised, that you've put in fear, in a state of alarm and fear, or the old people that you've neglected and kept a family from them, causing them to deteriorate. So technically, you've got deaths and blood on your hands, no me. Yous are destroying people. I've lost 4 or 5 people in my family already, and it's no due to COVID, none of them. They were all through medical neglect, through getting refused to see a doctor for the last 12 months, and they're deteriorating, through getting refused medication and their medication getting kept for them. My dad was one, life-saving medication. Now my auntie's just been diagnosed with lung cancer because she'd a cough for a year, that she couldn't never seen a doctor till she demanded, and it's lung cancer. Now, these are all things that will be happening this whole entire year, and these deaths are our governments, not due to COVID. They're due to the way you've held and handled a pandemic, which is totally unacceptable. So don't dare tell us and try and emotionally blackmail by telling lies again in the newspapers. Start telling the truth and people will start respecting you. But until then, you're losing respect. So as I said, the police were great, met so many people, and we need to tell the authorities we're sick and tired. We're being robbed of our freedoms, we're being exploited, and we're being told what to do. So how is that alright for them to think they can do that to us? This is where we need to stand under common law of the lands. This is where people need to educate themselves and start listening to Rob S. Rob S does have remedy. Robert does know what he's speaking about. He's been 10 years a common law specialist here, and that's understanding our rights as men and women of these lands. These are ours, not them. We pay we're the public their wages are, we pay their wages. They're supposed to be protecting all our rights, and they're using us, they're exploiting us, and basically we're slaves. And I put it politely, we're slaves. So this is a statement to Nicola Sturgeon. So there, as I said, They're robbing us of our freedom, they're exploiting us, they're telling us what to do, and it's our lives. Everything in our lives is our property. This is under common law. When you educate yourself, you understand where you have got rights. Everything in our lives that we've created is our property. This belongs to us. They have no right to tell honourable men and women what to do. They're destroying our property, they're stealing our property, and they're selling and exploiting our sons and daughters, and we need to stand up to this. We do not consent to the tyranny, and we made that clear to anyone who was watching yesterday. So well done to everybody, like I said. So after we peacefully marched to George Square through the city to Glasgow Green, some of the people, as I said, we got to speak in George Square, got to speak in the Green, and then when we were sitting we were singing while we were marching and stuff. I'm going to show you some of that actually. So I'll just do that right now. And this is what Nicola's not telling you. She's telling us that this is just the people of Scotland. Like, the kids are allowed to be in the parks drinking and in the hundreds. And I've been watching them for months, and nobody's looking after them. Nobody's watching them, but we're not allowed to gather. So so this was George Square yesterday, guys. And this is what we're really raising awareness about. Right, hold on, right, because this isn't right, it's not letting me. Their videos. That's the one I want to show you first. It'll not let me spin my camera, because I done it the wrong bloody way, didn't I? Sound. Look at her back. This was Paul. I never got much in video because I was really busy yesterday. I'm super proud of everybody in Scotland yesterday. Genuinely, for standing up. So I better let Peter speak or he'll batter me for not letting him be on the video. And I don't know what Nicola's saying as well, obviously, guys, anti-vax. Like, we should have a right to not want a vaccination if we don't want it, the same way everybody's got a right to choose to take it. If I don't want a vaccination, I should have the right to choose not to take that vaccination. Why is she making such a big deal of it? This is the point we're trying to stand up for. Like, right, 2 wee seconds, guys, I'm going to put another one on. And I'm going to show you us marching. So we were peacefully marching, there was no nothing. It was a beautiful day as well yesterday. So what's wrong with that? I was out getting exercise, and like I said, if we don't want a vaccination, then we shouldn't need to take it. You shouldn't be getting forced to take a vaccination. Right, well, skip. So just as well I wasn't alive, Yvonne. We went to talk about stuff. That's where I used to go round. Talk about stuff live. So there's no picture there, guys, because I had my camera and I was carrying a flag. It was a great wee day. Well, Diane, see, people like that were getting out with a walking stick and everything. She was in agony yesterday. Absolutely proud of everybody. So that was our gathering yesterday. What you won't see in the media, and we were all peaceful. And I've got other wee photos I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to need to do this because I don't know how to get into. So for everybody, for Nicola that tells us like we're anti-vaxxers, we're this and we're that, I'm going to show you some photos, guys, of like what we actually do to raise awareness and stuff. So right, I've already showed you this one, so ring one. So slow with the pictures tonight. Pardon me. How do I fix it? Don't know what that music's all about, that wasn't me. I'm not good enough to know how I'm going to just turn that off. I'm laughing the woman in the political group. I know we're sicky politicians, so that's what I want to talk about next as well. Like, it goes on and on and on, doesn't it? So this is really what we do to raise awareness and stuff. It's not what Nicola's portraying that we're anti-vaxxers. It's not at all. She's totally lying. So let me see, how do I go to another one? I'll let them play again. As I said, she's totally lying. It's not about just anti-vaccine, it's about everybody has the right to freedom of speech and the freedom to decide what they want for their own body. So if you don't want a vaccination, we should be allowed not to. Why is she pushing that it's a must? Then that's, to me, is just a red flag. Like, it's just no. And I've already said what my views on that are. So this is what we raise awareness about and stuff. And also I want to say, Billy, our wee photographer, we missed him yesterday. He's amazing. He's the guy that takes all these pictures. And just doesn't ask for a thing in return. And basically, I don't know what we do without him. He's a superstar. And I want to say a wee prayer for Billy. Billy's in hospital. He wasn't there yesterday. He's been really ill in the last week through his diabetes. So a wee prayer for Billy. And we appreciate all you do for us, Billy. All the pictures, they're amazing. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show you in here first. So how slow this is, guys. It shouldn't be that slow. It was fine earlier. There's trees everywhere, you can't no sound. So this was a crowd in George Square yesterday, standing up, uniting, coming together, proud of everybody. As I said, a massive well done to the older ones and stuff as well, like, in my utmost respect, because I'll tell you a wee sec, anything. It's another 40 album. Yeah, I figured it out. So also this is another wee album where they've picked the music, it's nothing to do with me. They don't like that 40, by the way. This is the one I got blocked on Facebook from, Myth. That's all the evidence of human trafficking in Glasgow. And that's Nicola Sturgeon's statements about its myth representation. And I've been blocked on everything for putting that up, because that's evidence. Facts, newspaper articles, a lot. And that's Nicola's. So I'm going to just play that again. That photo's not that colour either. So they've did something to it. And don't like it. Well, Nicola, I don't like that you're calling us bloody... I don't know what you're lying about us when it's not true. No, it's going to be that way. There you go, guys. So as I said, a massive well done and utmost respect to the older people yesterday. There was a one woman that comes that Rob S helped her mum at the care home last March, because she wanted her mum at the care home, and she had to fight basically because they wouldn't allow it. But Rob S helped her, and you know that woman pushed her mum in a wheelchair. She's an elderly woman, all the way to Glasgow Green and all the way back to George Square. Now, like if that woman can do that, they've been there for a year and none of them have no well. So Nicola should be ashamed of herself for making that statement. So as I said, a massive well done to all the older ones. And if, come on people, if we've a generation of older people that have already fought in wars, taken to the streets to stand up for our freedoms, should that not be an example to other people that they feel the need to fight? They've fought in wars before, so they know. And they've got so much passion and determination, and they're not fit to be out there walking the streets, but they're willing to, because they know that it's important that we stand up for ourselves, you know. And also a massive well done to all the survivors that put themselves there yesterday, who have already fought the system their whole entire lives, but yet put themselves out there yet again to stand up for the corruption and the shit in this country. And you take a chance of becoming a target when you do this in this country, trust me. But these people need the support of other people in Scotland to stand up and start saying no, we need to live our lives. The way that this is handled is killing more people. No, that they're not handling it the way they should. Like, we've survived viruses in the past, we've survived everything in the past. It didn't, we don't need to be controlled and cattled and legislations and etc, businesses destroyed. And I must say, we were really lucky here in Scotland, because in London yesterday, they allowed us to sit in the grass, and they didn't allow that in London, as far as I'm aware. Like us, they were chilling in the park, in Hyde Park, and let us peacefully, but the police started circling and linking arms and closing in on them. So they stood their ground because they were doing nothing wrong. Everybody else allowed to sit in the park. And it was a violation of their rights. So the crowd started to push back, and a guy witnessed the crowd forcing the police backwards. And the police started retreating, as far as I'm aware. But then another 10 police vans came to the scene, and the police teamed on the people with violence. So again, I have to say thanks, Police Scotland, for not doing that to the people of Scotland yesterday, and thanks for sticking up for us. And Nicola Sturgeon, it's our governments and police like down south that are acting like terrorists and stuff. It's no us. It's definitely no us. These are the real organised crime gangs, as the governments and the police now. But as I said, massive respect to Scotland yesterday. They let us do what we had to do. And it's a real shame that it didn't turn out in London like it did in Glasgow. But what an amazing day, as I said, and what an amazing turnout. And just thanks to everybody. And remember, every Saturday, George Square, 12 o'clock, we'll be there for the survivors. Hail, rain or snow, legislations or no. So, and like it said, look, down in London, it looked like basically what they did was they just teamed violence at the end of the, after an absolutely amazing day, to just, like, Nicola never had a story to write, so she's wrote something. She's wrote, I don't know what she wrote, I've not read it yet, so I can't comment, but I know it's something about something that's not true about we're anti-vaxxers and we ought to be ashamed of ourselves or something. She's so sad. Well, I messaged straight back at you, Nicola, since you won't speak to me. I've wrote to you for 12 months and you won't reply to me in person. You keep getting somebody else to do it, and it's copy and paste, and I'm sick of it. That's what you think of the children in Scotland, is copy and paste. Well, that's why we're in the street in the first place. So see, if you would listen to us, we wouldn't need to be in the streets. So, like, start listening and stop telling lies. So as I said, they were chilling in the park in London, and then it was just to put a story basically in the newspapers to say they were violent and shit when they weren't, because we people from Glasgow that went down there. So I'm barred on Facebook, so I don't know what's happened. Um, but I just know that the people from Glasgow would have went down there and peacefully enjoyed their day like we did yesterday. Not one fight, not one argument between anybody. So does that not prove we're peaceful? Um, as I said, Glasgow was the same, but we were police standing under oath and they gave the people respect and it was returned. So again, thanks to Police Scotland. It's not like me to be thanking the police because usually they're working for the government, but yesterday they stood with the people, so thanks. Um, and I hope this is the way it will continue. It's time we stand together in every department and every establishment as the men and women that aren't corrupt and stand up to the corruption in every institution across Scotland. Um, it's time that fellow men and women, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of Scotland stood up against a corrupt justice system, government and institutions across Scotland, as well as the corrupt mainstream media who push the lies of a corrupt government like it's just been told they did again the day. I'm going to go and read the story, but I don't know what any of the stories say yet. So, and they're descending upon the people like terrorists when they act like that. We need to stand and unite the common law of the lands and execute our inalienable rights as free men and women and stand together as one against the government. That's the government is only there by our consent. If we don't consent to them, then they don't exist. Remove the consent, and if because they've deceived us, they've stole our sons and daughters, our property, committed fraud, tyranny, and they've made us our slaves. This is unlawful. They've created statutes and acts to protect themselves from prosecution, and they've robbed us of any justice. So I'm going to give you just a wee bit about common law. So legal refers to legislation. So that's admiralty, maritime commerce, the law of the sea, foreign jurisdiction, profit and disputes, statutes are artificial. So they create them to basically steal our property, our lands and everything from us. The people's common law is the law of the land. It's sovereign and it's sovereign national jurisdiction. We are free people, sovereign beings. Where our corrupt government steal that with a birth certificate. Robert can educate you and all that stuff. So the people's common law is the law of the land, sovereign national jurisdiction, people in peace, and the law is living, like we are living men and women. So, and your inalienable rights, I've got a wee slide I know as well with the pictures of that. But I printed it out, so I'll actually just read you them. So, your inalienable rights are, right, so many years ago it was decided governments would be created to protect the property, to protect our property and our lands and everything else that goes along. So governments were created, and also they were in charge of protecting the inalienable rights of people, that's us. And it was made clear to them, so see when governments were created, this statement was made to them, that to secure rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed as people. So we have to consent to everything they decide. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. So see when we're standing under common law, this is what we aim to achieve. We aim to achieve where governments are corrupted in all levels. If we have enough people standing on the side under common law, that's the rights that you have your rights as a free sovereign man or woman of the lands. And we the people of Scotland, Anti-Corruption Scotland, and fighting for our children and saving our children. We the people of Scotland believe the time has come due to crimes against humanity. Our governments do need abolished, like they're no longer working. Also another part, inalienable rights. We hold these truths to be, another wee explanation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed, this is under common law, they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that, and these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All men are born equally free and hold certain inherent natural rights of which they cannot by any compact deprive or divest their posterity. For whenever any invasion is made upon inalienable rights of the people, there must arise either a perfect or external right to resistance. That's us. We've got a right to decide that there's corruption being committed against us and stand up and say no, no more, enough is enough. Inalienable rights are essential limitations in all governments. So that's a wee bit about inalienable rights. We need to stand under common law to these lands and execute our inalienable rights as free men and women, and stand together as one against a government that is only there by our consent. If we remove that consent, then it needs to change. As I said, they're committing crimes against the people. So again, a massive respect to everybody that stood yesterday and will take the stick in the publicity, the bad publicity, but it's about time the mainstream media choose your side. Please Scotland, choose your side. Anybody that's not corrupting your governments, politicians, choose your side, because we're not going to go away and we're going to keep standing up for the rights of our country, our freedom, and the corruption and the whole, every elite across the board, for your royal family to your governments. They're stealing, abusing, exploiting, selling us, trafficking, making slaves. They've made a deal with the devil basically, and we are just merchandise. So trust me, our governments and authorities are watching us very closely just now, engaging the situation, and in no way, and we need, and we're making them worried. But they are going to pay for their crimes against humanity. And again, don't appreciate our First Minister telling lies about people that are trying to protect the children that are being exploited in our country. There's grooming gangs. I'm going to do a live with Laura on this. I'm going to come on and do a live about the grooming gangs that are running a riot across Glasgow, and that our government kept secret for the public for 3 whole years nearly, which have left further girls becoming victims to these grooming gangs. I've seen them, they're prostituting these kids out in the Glasgow city centre. They can get away with that during lockdown. We can't stand up and tell these kids that there's somebody there that wants to hear them and believes them, because my First Minister and my government are refusing, just ignoring it. So, as I said, I'll show you. So as I said, me and Laura are going to try and do, I'm bad on Facebook, so you won't see me back on there again. And me and Laura are going to try and do a live on we can never get on YouTube live, they don't let us do that either. So guys, that's why we've been working at this for months, but it's not happening. We're going to find another way, and there's going to be a few interviews we're going to do with some people that we're going to put on here as well. But again guys, thanks everybody for standing up, and as I said, me and Laura are going to do a wee video on, and thanks again for peacefully joining all the causes together, and we need to do it more in Scotland. As I said, every Saturday 12 o'clock we're in George Square. I'll be there on Saturday, so if there's any confusion, people are going to Edinburgh, I totally get going to other places and uniting. We're going to start maybe doing something. The Queen, the Pope, the Queen, the Vatican are the same mob, for whoever made that comment. The Queen, the Vatican and the governments, like they're all the same people. Royal families across the world, are not just our Queen, royal families across the world are the elites, along with all the governments that are controlling and enslaving us right now in a massive worldwide level. And as I said, I'm not disputing COVID's not real. There is something out there, there's a virus, but see, if you've got an immune system, you'll fight it. Trust me, you'll fight it with your immune system that God gave you to fight infectious diseases or whatever the hell. But they're lying to us. It's not what they're saying it is, and we should have every right. Nick calling us anti-vaxxers, we should have every right to stand against not being vaccinated. Just the same way, I'll know my mum and dad get a vaccination. I'm not discriminating against them. I don't agree with it. My aunt got one and she died 2 weeks after it. There's been lots of cases like that. I'm on the fence, and we should have a right to be on the fence with something that's just came like that. It's scary. So we're not the ones, we're there supporting the people because of the lack of services for mental health for victims of abuse, um, and will continue to do so whether the Scottish Government agree with it or not. And that's why we don't like the Scottish Government, because they're exploiting our children and they're allowing it in the care homes. And also the amount of people that came to George Square that were ex-social workers and stuff. But thanks so much to you all. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in, and please share, because I am totally barred and deleted on Facebook. I will never get another account. Even tried to be my dog, different IP address. It's not happening. They've totally censored me, and it is pretty clear we've been censored. I had 1,800, Laurel, back us up, within 2 weeks on here. I had 1,800 subscribers, and see, it's just paused, it's just stopped, completely stopped for the last 9 weeks, 10 weeks. So if that's not censorship, then I don't know what is. So, but we'll keep defending our kids, and we'll keep standing up for the children of Scotland. And as I said, what a brilliant day in George Square, and I hope we can have many more, where we all unite together for whatever the cause, and just stand together against our injustices, and start educating ourselves and learning the common law of the land, which everybody is inalienable rights, and under common law we can take our lands and our freedom back. We just need numbers, and that's all we're trying to achieve, to protect the children from a government that's exploiting them. And we want a better future for them, and we want to make it safe for our kids to go out again. We should be allowed to try. So, as I said, I'll maybe show you some pictures again just to finish it off with everybody for yesterday, and I'll get better at this and be able to show you some more. So let me see. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and I shall speak to you soon. We'll raise our own awareness on our own media platform, since no mainstream media will tell the truth. The government won't tell the truth, so we'll tell the truth. And that's all we want, is people to unite for the truth. Regardless of what that truth is, it doesn't matter. We're not pushing one thing or another thing. It's just we're trying to help educate people to what's really happening in Scotland. So as I said, we're going to do something in grooming gangs. I'll just show you some of the headlines of the trafficking in Scotland to show that we're not telling any lies, guys. So here's just some of them, right? But we'll do this when me and Laura cover the grooming gangs. So this is going on in Glasgow right now. With grooming gangs running wild across the city. This is what me and Laura are going to do our next live on. And it's just, as I said, there's story after story after story. Nicola says it's myth, it's misrepresentation. So that's why we feel a need to support our children and get there and raise awareness. Like, this is just trafficking across the whole of Scotland, and it's constant. And as I said, this is just some of the stories. That's the picture. Oh, Nicola wouldn't let you see real or myth. That's all the evidence of human and child trafficking. That's Nicola saying what she's probably said the day that I've not read yet. So are we telling the truth? Or is Nicola telling the truth? Let people decide for themselves. And me and Laura are going to do, as I said, on grooming gangs. As I said, that's all the evidence. But anyway, that's for another time. But guys, again, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to show you, finish off with showing you some, right, so add two. I've went slow again. I don't like this pictures. See what I mean by censorship? welcome back to photos. A new setting available? No. What is going on? Right, I am going to just show you these photos again, guys, right? Don't know why it's not showing right. So this is what we're really in George Square, raising awareness a bit every week and supporting survivors of this. And Nicola keeps saying we're just anti-vaxxers. This is what me and Laura do about with the kids. Oh, you're welcome, Daniel. Somebody's got to do it, and there's no... They'll probably say we're trying to make money or nothing. We don't take... It's a non-profit organisation. We raise awareness. We support people. We don't ask for nothing in return. Some people give paper and ink. That's... And we accept that. That's about it. So... And stuff for victims of this crap that have maybe been victims of abuse and stuff, and they've went homeless and they've not got a thing for their kids, and that we help people like that as well. That's what Nicola doesn't tell you about us. That was George Square, that picture at Christmas, all the homeless queuing. We shouldn't have this in Scotland. This Robert standing under common law in the court the other week, but they didn't take him. That's Nora and Johnny. Justice for Johnny, justice for Reese. That's Stephanie and Reese. Stephanie and Reese. Yesterday at George Square. Just a wee picture of like, it says, we shouldn't be fighting with, you should be fighting for me, not with each other. Right, let me get the other wee album. It's the same one, isn't it? Nah, we don't want to watch the police. I wasn't on to put them on. They were amazing yesterday when they were there standing under Nicola. That was when they were standing under Nicola, the pictures. In 2018 and 19, 218,000 children went missing in the UK. That's what that picture said there. Laura, 12 PM. Me, I will not stay silent so you can stay comfortable. So that's what we really did in George Square. And I'm sure there was, I made one with Robert in it there. And we support each other, no, for one or the other. We all do our own thing, and that's what we need to do. Or whatever we're, like Robert's common law, me and Laura do loads of research on the children and what's happening in Scotland and Glasgow. And Diane's was an ex-social worker. She's good at dealing with social work, who are totally disgusting at the moment and removing children everywhere because they're like desperate paedophiles wanting kids, I swear to God. And we're sick of it. That's what we're standing up for. I'll show you. It's another wee album. Yep, there's child mass grave sites across the whole of Scotland that are unmarked, and my government don't tell you that either. Right guys, so like I said, thanks for tuning in, and as I said, it was great, and we did good yesterday because we got older people out there for sunlight, fresh air and exercise. So good night guys, God bless, and see you soon. And there's my door, so I'm going to say good night and I'll speak soon. I'll be my boy, I've been away too long.